Get ready to gear up. We're taking you inside high school sports, your home teams, your rivals. Taking you inside high school football like no one else. Inside all the action. Inside the excitement. Inside all the games that count. This is Whataburger's Inside High School Sports. Welcome to Whataburger's Inside High School Sports. I'm your host, Pat Doney. Multiple huge district matchups this week, but we're going to start in 11-6A. Duncanville went into its district opener having only played one game so far this season. But as we know, the Panthers are stacked with D1 talent, so maybe one game is all they need to get going. However, Waxahachie was ready for the challenge. The Indians are looking to make a run at the district title as they face Duncanville in our Whataburger Game of the Week. It feels like Waxahachie's closed the gap in 11-6A this past couple of seasons, and they set the tone early in this game. After a long kickoff return to start the game, Jerry Meyer III hits Taylor Strange. Less than a minute in, it's 7-0 Indians. Duncanville then took the lead and added on when Victor Lincoln jumps Meyer's route and returns it the other way 35 yards. Panthers led 20-9 at the break. First possession of the second half, it appears Duncanville was going to put this one away. Maximus Denson, the slant to Asen Theus. It's 85 yards for the pitch and catch, and it makes it 27-9. This game's over, right? Well, not so fast. On the ensuing kickoff, Jordan Smith finds an opening, then just has to beat the kicker, and he does. The Indians have a pulse, and they score again. Then with a little more than 3 minutes to go, Nolan Barnard punches it in from a yard out. The Indians score 19 straight to take a 28-27 lead. Still time for Duncanville to get in field goal range. But Waxahachie's defense comes up big. Jaquan Snell busts through, pops Theus on 4th and 2. And then the Panthers get it back with a few seconds left, but the Hail Mary attempt is batted away near the goal line. Let the madness begin. Waxahachie pulls off the 28-27 upset. The Indians go to 3-0 on the season. Lovejoy beat Anna last year. Remember the final score? It was 66-62. This year, they combined for less than 60. Lovejoy got this touchdown pass from Jacob Janasek to Zach Jones. That was just before halftime, and it made it 17-14 Anna at the break. If you were looking for another shootout, Anna did its part in the third quarter, scoring 28 points. Cormond Houston taking it to the house here on a screen pass. And a few minutes later, DeAndre Williams hooking up with Houston again, this time with the deep ball. DeAndre Williams had a huge game. 268 yards passing, 180 yards rushing, 72 of them came on this run here, and he had 5 total touchdowns. Anna blows out Lovejoy, 45-14 the final. Southlake, Carroll, and Euless Trinity renewing their big rivalry with Euless Trinity with its incredible tradition of the sippy towel before the game, but it was Carroll jumping out to an early lead with Angelo Renda getting in for the early touchdown. And then later, more Carroll Dragons. This time, a deep ball to wide receiver Brody Knowles. That puts the Dragons ahead 14-0. And then later with Carroll up 21-0, Trinity gets on the board with this touchdown pass by Zorian Palmore, but it was all Carroll Dragons from there. Southlake Carroll beats Euless Trinity 44-6, your final score. It was a battle of undefeated teams when Plano hosted Allen at Clark Stadium. Early in the first quarter, Allen would get an interception, and that was just the beginning of their defensive dominance in this game. The Eagles allowed just 2 first downs and 80 total yards in the game. Just 2 plays later, Lyndon Spriggs gets the ball, makes one incredible juke, and then it's track season, sprinting 62 yards for the score. He had 131 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game. Allen's defense stuffed a 4th down attempt, and on the very next play, quarterback Jeremiah Dowd connects with Carter Harris. It's a 94-yard touchdown. Allen averaged nearly 8 yards per play on offense. The defense pitched a shutout, 56-0 your final score. Fort Worth Brewer welcomed in the Richland Royals Friday night, and Richland wasted little time getting on the scoreboard. Already up 7-zip when Jay-Sean Gibson takes the give straight up the middle, and see you later. 89 yards on the house call, and the Royals are up 14, and Gibson was just getting started. A little later, he takes a handoff, and again, he's going to go straight up the gut, and again, he finds pay dirt, this time from 46 yards out. Gibson finished with 183 153 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. Richland was also effective through the air. Brett Cates hits Ben Sanders down the seam, and watch Sanders fight his way down inside the 5 where Richland would punch it in on the next play. Brewer would find a little offense when Jules Sanders would find Andrew Jones all by his lonesome, and Jones turns that into a 56-yard touchdown catch, but Brewer really could not find much more than that. Richland gets the big road win over the Brewer Bears by the final of 42-14. A big 5A Division I matchup Thursday as undefeated Frisco Wakeland took on 2-1 Frisco Reedy. Not much scoring early in this one, but late in the third, Reedy up 3-0 when Lions quarterback Lincoln Harn feels the pressure and heaves it up to his big tight end Jaden Newberger. That made it 10-0 Reedy after 3. Wakeland would finally get on the board in the third. Jaden Maples, a 56-yard bomb to Grayson Meyer in stride. Wolverines down just 10-7. And then with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to play, it's Maples on the run, and he's going to connect with Meyer again in the back of the end zone. Meyer with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions as Wakeland wins it 14-10 your final. Arlington Martin's Jesse Ford is out the rest of the year with an injury. His Warriors could have used him Thursday against Arlington Lamar. Vikings first possession, Tyrone Thomas like he shot out of a cannon. 21 yards untouched, 7-0 Lamar. Second quarter, Vikings backed up inside their own 10. Jaden Shaw hits Camille Pruitt and stiff arms a guy, and he's gone. 91 yards later, Lamar is up 20-0. They led 26-7 in the third when Martin shows a little life. Chase Duvall on the reverse. Lofts one up to a wide open Trentavious Hayes. We have a ball game. It's 26-14, but Martin had a hard time containing Shaw. He takes it in here on the read option. Lamar, impressive in its 8-6A opener, winning 40-21 the final. A great 9-6A game Friday night as Wylie hosted Sachse. First quarter, it's Sachse's Christian McCaffrey. No, not that Christian McCaffrey, but this one lofts one deep down the sidelines, and Marcus Roden hauls it in for a 59-yard touchdown. The Mustangs up 7-3. Second quarter, Wylie's Jabriron Blake takes the snap. Or is this Tony Romo? Hard to tell with the way Blake Houdini's his way out of a certain sack and into the for a first down here in the red zone. But the player of the game was Dalen Gordon. Gordon had 279 total yards on the night, and he gets 12 tough yards and a touchdown here as Wylie beats Sachse 34-27 the final. Well, as usual, the Dallas-Fort Worth area has plenty of menacing offensive linemen patrolling the trenches. But the biggest and the baddest might just be this week's Parker University MVP. That's Felix Ojo of Mansfield Lake Ridge. One of the best offensive linemen in the nation is Felix Ojo of Lake Ridge. The 5-star offensive tackle is everything you look for to protect your blind side. At 6'6" and 275 pounds, he's massive. And once he engages with you, you are not getting loose. Felix has great on-field demeanor and really stands out physically and athletically. He committed to Texas Tech in July and inked a groundbreaking 3-year NIL deal worth millions. So fired up to have Felix in studio now with his new bobblehead as well, man. What do we think? I think it's a pretty good bobblehead here now.
I think it looks great, too. Yes, sir.
I'm so well-deserved. Been so fun to watch you to this point, too, and you played so well, and the future's so bright. I wanted to ask you about pressure that comes with being the high-ranked recruit, right? For you, that's got to feel a little bit of pressure as one of the top players, but I'm guessing that's also motivation, right? Do you see that in both ways there, too?
I really don't try to focus on recruiting rankings and the pressure that comes with it. I try to play my own ball, and then not only that, I feel like pressure builds diamonds. So the pressure that comes with it, I love it. Just because I know everyone's just going their 100% on me, I love to prove everyone wrong.
And that's a great mentality to have because it leads into the next conversation that we have about this NIL deal, right? Everybody was talking about it. It was one of the national stories, right? A trailblazer in NIL right here is Felix. So how has that impacted you as well? And what does that mean to you that you were one of these first guys to kind of trailblaze away when it comes to NIL that way?
It's just a big blessing to me and my family. I mean, for me to give my family an opportunity to set themselves financially up for financial security and stuff like that, it was a great opportunity for me and my family. And then not only that, just in the recruiting world, it's just cool. Just cool to know is cool.
It is cool. There's no doubt. I mean, it's an amazing thing, and it's so well deserved. You could have gone really anywhere you wanted to. You picked Texas Tech, not just for NIL. You and I were talking about that. What was it about Coach McGuire and Texas Tech and Lubbock that made you say, you know what, that is where I want to go play college?
Really, the first of all, the high school relationships that he has. He's been in the area. He coached at Cedar Hill. He's in the area. Like my high school coach, best friends with my high school coach. From my high school, he produced Jed Duffy, a quarterback. He thrived over there. Caleb Rogers, a third-round draft pick, highest offensive line draft pick in the program at Texas Tech. And then not only that, just the relationship he built with me. Even when they weren't even in my top schools, they were persistent, and they kept calling me, my parents, all that stuff. So I felt like that was really the main place where I felt at home and felt loved. Even if I didn't even go there, they would have still showed them love to me and my family. So that's what ultimately made me go to Texas Tech.
Big things there at Texas Tech in the future for you. Big things this year, though, still at Lake Ridge, man. Cannot wait to see what you do the rest of this season, your senior year.
Yes, sir.
So fired up to see you in the future as well. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on the MVP bobblehead here, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. All right, when we come back, it's more Week 4 highlights, and our inside story takes a look at the upstart Royse City Bulldogs. Stay with us. The Kubota Country Roads taking us back to Fort Worth. Handley Field, to be exact. The Brock Eagle machine traveling to Fort Worth Southwest to take on the Raiders. Already up 14-0. Holt Frazier finds Brendan Ray. Frazier had 6 touchdown throws on the night. Later, Brock going in for more. But Isaiah King strips the football. Kendon Warner helps out, and King Russell Billingsley falls on it for the Raiders. But here comes that Brock defense. Ball floated up. Watch UTEP commit Colt Matlock haul it in, and he's gone. This is a 78-yard pick six on the play. In fact, on offense, Matlock had 2 catches for 92 yards and 2 more touchdowns as well. 69-0. No stopping the Brock Eagles on this night. Meanwhile, Plano East getting some one-on-one drills before their second half of their homecoming game with Plano West. Down 28-17, Plano East goes to a freshman running back, Tracy Sheldon, and he delivers, busting through the hole, outrunning the defense. It's a 55-yard touchdown. Sheldon had 178 yards, and the Panthers were down 4. But the turnover bug would hit Plano East, and it would hit them hard. On the tackle here, the ball pops straight into the hands of West's E.J. Abraham, and no one is going to catch him. 56 yards for the Wolves touchdown. They're up 35-24. Then Plano West punting and more opportunistic play for the Wolves special teams. Andre Davis forces another fumble, and it's a room service bounce to Jones Church, who coasts into the end zone. Plano West is 3-0. They win 42-32 the final. But with a big win over Weatherford Friday night, Royse City will enter district play without a loss. And our Kia Inside Story tells us that after a few losing seasons, the Bulldogs coaching staff had a feeling a breakout year like this one was on the horizon. Starting the season 3-0 and winning by an average of 30 points a game may have been a surprise to some. But not to Royse City head coach Drew Colvin.
We got to do a great job telling the quarterback, working the quarterback on that, all right?
He had an idea something special was coming when his freshman team won the district championship a year ago.
When you watch them practice, when you watch them play, you can tell they love football. They love football. And it is like overwhelming to other teams. The way they play. Thursday nights looking like Friday nights. It's just their style of play, man. It's like you just watch those guys and it's inspiring.
Those freshmen are now sophomores, and 6 of them start for the Bulldogs this year. That includes Bryson Arney. The soft-spoken wide receiver is a big play waiting to happen, and when you talk potential, well, we'll let Coach Colvin speak on that.
He's just a sophomore, and he's not as good as he'll ever be, but I do think that, if he does what he's supposed to do, he will be the best receiver that I have ever coached. And I really do think that by the time he is a senior, he will be one of the most exciting players in the country to watch at receiver, kick returner, punt returner.
The Bulldogs are putting up eye-popping offensive numbers as they average 48 points a game through their first 3 contests. The receiving corps is led by senior Kamarian Clark, who had some personal obstacles to get past before he even got on the football field.
Growing up, I had it hard. I used to stay in Florida, but now I'm in Texas. I used to live with my grandparents. Now I live with one of my friends. He took me in. Getting to varsity, it was a challenge, but I had to work. I had to get up there. show I had to prove what needed to be proven.
Sometimes kids fall through the cracks, I think, and I think that's the deal with him. Grades were an issue. Staying on the right track to be eligible to play football, which is something that means a lot to him, was an issue.
Living virtually on his own, Clark found himself below the failing line through his sophomore year. With the threat of not playing football at all last year, Kamarian locked in, and with the help of his Royse City football family, Clark is back on track.
He fought like heck to get all his credits, to get eligible to play football. And then last fall, he was not on the failure list not one time during football season. The reality of, I'm not going to be able to play football unless I take care of business in the building, for sure is what got it going.
That's all I need to hear. If I can't play football, I don't know what I'll do. It's exciting to see what I'm going to get into next, you know. It's exciting not having to worry about summer school no more.
This kid who doesn't have a consistency outside of the field house found a way to get here every day and be where he was supposed to be every day and take care of his grades and get to football practice and do what he's supposed to do. So I would just ask kids, what is your excuse?
When we return, a breakdown of the talented players from the DFW area that Joey McGuire is bringing to Texas Tech. Stay with us. Welcome back to Whataburger's Inside High School Sports. Just a few days ago, DeSoto defensive lineman Keadrian Redmond committed to Texas Tech. Kenny Matthews tells us in our Next Level segment that plenty of other North Texas athletes are also locked in on the Red Raiders and are looking to join him.
Texas Tech has been the talk of recruiting for the 2026 season in this new day of NIL. They sure got off to a terrific start with a top 10 prospect in the nation, Mansfield Lakeridge offensive lineman Felix Ojo. At 6'6", 275 pounds, this ultra-talented tackle is the crown jewel of this class. He has great length, frame, and physicality to be an elite tackle at the next level. Tech also grabbed the lanky wide receiver out of Forney and Mari Jahil. He has excellent ball catching ability away from his body, making highly contested balls his mainstay. Defense has 3 defensive backs from the area. The best of the best is Donovan Webb from Panther Creek. One of the best safeties in the state, has 3-phase playmaking ability from the back end, speed, length, and ball hawking skills. A volume tackler, back-to-back 100 tackle seasons. Then there's North Crowley safety Aaron Bradshaw, a ferocious hitter that brings his pads on every play once he takes a step out of the locker room. Finally, Terrell cornerback Noah Lewis is a two-sports athlete with tremendous coverage skills. He may only have 2 INTs last year, but that's more of a product of offenses avoiding him because he took a third of the field away. Texas Tech has made an impression in the recruiting world with the signing of Felix Ojo. Texas Tech will be a main player at the poker table now with the Blue Blood School for coveted recruits.
Thank you, Kenny. Time for one last timeout. When we return, it's time for our Plays of the Week. That's going to do it for this week's show, but be sure to catch the warm-up this Thursday morning. Neil Beasley and Professor Diggs break down all the big games in the area and get you ready for the week ahead of Texas high school football. But now we leave you with some of the best plays from last week in our Plays of the Week segment.